They give you the sheet, you the sheet. Alright, so the first thing you have to do is your air brake, and it's something you need to do. Just kind of stand so you can see too.
It's all good. It's all good.
When you first do it, it might roll, because it might be on. You put that in the front on this, yeah. Alright, so when we get there, usually what we do is chalk the wheel, and we'll usually fan it down to 90 for you, but that's all of y'all responsibility. We just usually do it. So you change the switch to the on position. Wait for your ABS light to go out. What you're really waiting for is your squiggly line to go out, but they want you to say waiting for my ABS light to go out. Once your ABS light go out, it's not at 90, so I'm gonna fan it down to 90. Then I'm gonna start my truck up and build it all the way up to 120 until I hear the governor. That's what they need to hear, the governor. All right. Push on gas between 20 and 15 RPM. Right, that's the governor. On. Make sure you see your gauges wave at you or your dashboard light up like a Christmas tree. Push your truck.
Do you have to tell them that? Like I see my light spot. Okay.
That's just something so you know you turned the switch on.
Okay.
Sometimes the reason I tell you that because people turn the switch too far back and they only do one click where you don't have no electricity. Mm-hmm. If you don't have no electricity in your dashboard, how can you do your exercise?
So you cut it off back to the run position.
Right. And push. All right, now
Yep,
push your top one.
All
right, now you tell the examiners I'm gonna do an air brake test. I'm gonna hold my brake for 1 minute. Within that 1 minute, I should not lose more than 4 pounds of pressure. Would you please time it? They'll say yes. They say yes, put your foot on there. Of course, your air pressure gonna drop a little bit because you just pushed on it, so it's gonna stabilize. Now, you waiting for them. They are looking at their watch, so 1, 2, 3, 58, 59, 60. I'm not gonna do the whole minute, but they're gonna make you do the whole minute. All right, once they tell your minute's up, take your foot off. I did not lose more than 4 pounds of pressure within that 1 minute. Now I'm gonna fan my brakes down to approximately 60. And my warning lights and buzzers will come on. That's why you have to have electricity in your dashboard. If you don't have no electricity in the dashboard, how you gonna see
how you get to the step?
Right here. You won't hear that, or you won't see your lights and buzzers. So that's why I tell everybody off, on. Make sure you see the gauges wave at you, or your dashboard light up like Christmas tree push. All right, they did. And now I'm gonna fan down to approximately 40, and my parking brake will release. And you want to explain before you do it. You don't want to start fanning down and then your valves pop out. Alright, so just watch it. And they did. Watch your valves when you're doing that. Once you do that, tell them it did pop out. So now I'm going to start up, build it back up to 120 until my governor kick off. Push on gas between 10 and 15 RPM. Once you get to 120, that is complete your air brake test. So you can say it now, or you can wait till it get to 120 and say that completes your air brake test. I always tell them once I start up, and it get to 120, that'll complete the air brake test. Some people skip over and go ahead and do the service brake check and the lighting indicator. I always tell everybody if you wait, that's all right. It ain't gonna take you those 45 minutes to keep your service check. Sometimes if you skip over something, you might get to come back and get it. So that's why I always tell everybody just take your time. Alright, so what y'all do is take it all the way up to 120. I'm gonna stop right here. Alright, next thing they tell you is pocket brake check. Don't push it in. I'm just putting the stuff on the tail. Do not push it in. Just leave your brake on. You brake it on. You start the gas. So the neutral, when it drives, start the gas. It's on the brake hole. Alright, put it back in neutral. Now I'm gonna cut it off. Because y'all recording, so I'm gonna cut it off so you can hear. Leave your truck running. I'm cutting it off so y'all can hear.
But always leave running.
Right.
After the air brake.
Right.
Get it back up to 120.
Right. Because I'm cutting, like I said, I cut it off so y'all can hear while I'm recording. Next thing they actually do is your lighting indicators. Left turn signal, right turn signal. You pull it for high beam. Your four ways. Next thing they actually check is emergency equipment. I got an ABC fire extinguisher fully charged in the green. I got 3 triangles on the passenger seat. Extra fuse in the glove box. Next thing they actually check is your windshield and traffic monitoring devices. The reason they call these traffic monitoring devices because some of the new vehicles they got cameras on. So that's why they say traffic monitoring devices. So I'm gonna check my windshield and all my traffic monitoring devices. They all securely mounted, not cracked the damage or chips or no illegal stickers obstructing my view. Next thing I actually check is your wipers and washers. Push in on it. I do have wash fluid. My arms connect to the truck. Blades connect to the arm. Blade making proper contact to the windshield. And they not crack the chips or, crack the freight or dry ride it. Next thing I actually check is your heater and defrost. When you turn everything so it's even all the way across. And the reason I say all the way across, because now it's set on defrost, you reach and feel, and on the heater. But if you just set it on defrost and you reach down here, you ain't getting nothing because you never switched it over. All right, next thing I'm gonna check is my horn. This one has a city horn. The other truck I usually use has a highway horn. If it has a highway horn, you have to tell them. Okay. Next thing is your Next thing is your external light check. So you reach it, it's only one switch over here that say off. You can turn it on. And you ask the examiner, could you please assist me on my exterior light check? They'll say yes. When they say yes, they out front, they stand right here. Left turn signal, they give you thumbs up. Right turn signal, thumbs up. High beam, low beam, they give you thumbs up. Four ways, thumbs up. Then they'll walk to the back of the truck, same thing. Pretty much, right, left, four ways, brakes. Your truck's still running in reverse, hit R. Your light will come on, they'll come and stand right here. Now if they tell you no, you have to do it yourself. Most of them, they will do it. They don't have to. That's why it's not called a buddy system no more. That's why it's called external light check. So if they say no, turn your truck off like it is now, back to the on position. So you have electricity. Then just left turn signal, get out and walk your truck. Right turn signal, get out, walk your truck, so on and so forth. When it comes to the reverse, you ask them, could you please assist me? On your brake lights, could you please assist me on my brake lights? I can't check that on my own. And then they'll go back in and check. After that, they're waiting on you, so now you tell them you're gonna get out and finish on the outside. So just turn your switch on, turn your light off. You don't have to use the stick. I'm gonna just grab it so I can point at stuff if you need to see what it is. Alright, so you start in front of the truck. So I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna start out front, I'm gonna check all my lights. I'm gonna check my clearance lights, headlights, turn signals. Make sure they're all securely mounted, not cracked or damaged, no missing nuts and bolts, proper color and clean. Also, I'm gonna check under my vehicle for any puddles, which will indicate leakage. Also, I'm gonna check under my vehicle, see if it's leaning left or right, which will indicate a flat tire suspension problem. Everything seems to be okay, so I like to start on the driver's side. Oh, ain't no worries. All right, this hood not heavy. If you go to pull your hood up and it don't come, go back and check your latches because you probably didn't unlatch it. What you don't want to do is put your foot in this, because like I said, it's not heavy. Most likely you're going on your back. All right, so I'll come over here next. Check all my hoses and all my wires. Make sure they're all securely mounted, not cracked or damaged or leaking, no missing nuts and bolts. Also clamped, and the wires not melted or frayed. Next, I would check all my fluids. Now, I don't know if the paper, if I did it backwards, whether fluids or hoses, but as long as I get both. So I'm gonna check my coolant. My coolant should read between add and max. Only check it if the engine's cool. You don't have to open this. You definitely don't want to open it because it's gonna be a bad day. This thing hot. So you just explain how you do it. So next I'm gonna check my power steering fluid and my oil. The way I would check both of those is pull the dipstick out, wipe them off, reinsert them, pull them back out. They should read between add and forward. The wash fluids you don't have to check because you check that when you push your valve, your thing in. Next they tell you to check is your steering linkage. You check my steering column, steering gearbox, hoses, connecting on, connecting rod, carter keys. They all securely mounted, not cracked or damaged or leaking, and no missing nuts and bolts. Anything that holds liquid, you want to say leaking. Anything that's warm, melted or frayed. Everything is pretty much securely mounted, not, I tell people, cracked or damaged or leaking. It's commercial driver license, but today it's cracked, damaged or leaking. All right, next thing I tell you check is your tires. I'll check the inner and outer for any cuts and bulges. Minimum tread depth, one way to help you remember. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, 4 30 seconds. 2 tires in the back, 2 30 seconds. No recaps are allowed. I would check my valve stem and cap. Yes, it's down the bottom. Make sure it's securely mounted, not cracked or damaged or leaking. Cap is present. Air pressure should be between 80 and 100 psi. I would check the tread depth with a tread depth gauge. I would check the valve stem with an air pressure gauge. I would check all my rims. Make sure they securely mounted, not cracked or damaged. No signs of illegal wheels. I would check all my lug nuts. Make sure they securely mounted, not cracked or damaged. No missing lug nuts. Also make sure there are no signs of shininess or rust trails, which will indicate leakage. Next thing I would check is my suspension. I would check my hangers, front hanger, rear hanger, leaf spring, U-bolts. Make sure they're all securely mounted, not cracked or damaged, no missing nuts and bolts. Also make sure you're not shifted or missing.
You said that's a leaf spring?
Leaf spring.
And that's the back leaf?
U-bolt.
U-bolt and...
Front hanger.
Okay.
Rear hanger behind that fender.
All right.
All right. Next is your shock absorber. I would check the top and the bottom. Make sure they securely mounted, not cracked or damaged or leaking. No missing nuts and bolts. In the back, most of the vehicles we have do have an airbag. I would check the top and the bottom. Make sure it's securely mounted, not cracked or damaged or leaking, and no missing nuts and bolts. We'll go back up front. Next thing, not yet. Next thing is your brakes. I would check my brake hoses and lines. Make sure they're securely mounted, not cracked or damaged or leaking, no missing nuts and bolts. Next thing, I would check on the inside of my brake drum. So I would check on the inside. So this is your brake drum, but a lot of them had a dust cover on it. It's hard to see. But I would check, tell them I would check on the inside of my brake drum, make sure it's free of contaminants such as grease and oil. Yep. Next thing is your lenses. So go ahead and close your hood down. Like I said, when you close your hood, latch your hood.
So this down underneath the engine, underneath.
Yep. Yep. I ain't getting nothing there.
No.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. When you latch your hood, make sure you latch both sides. If your memory worse than mine, you better go right there and do it now. But don't just push it down and say I'm gonna check it later. But I'm gonna do the other side, hopefully when I check the fuel tank. Next, I'm gonna check all my lights and lenses. Make sure they're all securely mounted, not cracked or damaged, no missing nuts and bolts, proper color and clean. Next thing, I'm gonna check my traffic monitor devices, my mirrors. Mirror connect to the bracket. Bracket connect to the truck. Securely mounted, not crack the damage, no missing nuts and bolts. Next thing I'm gonna check is my battery. My batteries connect to the truck. Cable connect to the battery, and also make sure it's free of excess corrosion. Excess corrosion. Yep. All right, next thing I'm gonna check is my fuel tank. So the way I do it, I tell them I'm gonna check my fuel cap, my fuel tank, my fuel hoses and wires. They all securely mounted, not cracked or damaged or leaking, no missing nuts and bolts. Cap securely tightened to the tank, and the wires not melting or frayed. Next thing I will check is my frame and cross member. They all securely mounted, not cracked or damaged, no missing nuts and bolts, no holes, and no illegal welds, and also in the shape of a ladder. Last, I check my reflectors and my lights. Make sure they all securely mounted, not cracked or damaged, no missing nuts and bolts, proper color and clean. And that's the end of the pre-check.